right, good evening, everybody. This is just for Patreon. So if you are on Patreon, you can click on the link and watch me live. And this is the forecast and predictions for the next dragon axis on January 18th, 2022 through July 18th or July 17th, 2023. This was recorded on January 10th of 2022. And the reason I am giving this date is because as these predictions unfold, I will start posting them publicly. Okay. All right, here we go. Now, for all of you, I call this, you guys who followed me for long enough. And to those, but before I get started, to our new Patreons who have joined, welcome. And I'm here if you have any questions, okay? Like I said, we have a dragon axis shift, nodal transit. It goes into a Taurus Scorpio energy. I call it changing of the cards. And every 18 months, the universal dragon energy shifts. So since May 5th of 2020, we have been under a negative fire dragon energy in a Gemini Sagittarius axis. This energy has brought many things such as COVID, same dragon the year the Spanish flu hit back in the early 1900s. We've seen massive fires globally, the loss of many animal species, and lack of critical thought and believing conspiracies instead of investigating them on our own. This is where sadness and exposure came to our indigenous communities. And you could see that through all these graves being exposed on these Native American schools. That's going to continue. One thing about a Scorpio is it rules the dead in the underworld. So the dead will reveal the living's sins. This is where the misinformation through media has come. And as we go through this dragon more and more, they're going to be censoring us more and more on what they publish. We as citizens are going to have to look and search deeper for the truth. This is also where we have a division within the state of its own people. And before I go on, I always am a firm believer that when you have a state that is divided, it can be easily conquered or manipulated. And that is not good. We are not in a healthy place right now. Now, the United States is a Cancer nation. What I mean by that is it was created on July 4th, 1776. So it is a Cancer nation, and this energy has been sitting on the USA's 6th house. These last 18 months, this dragon in Sagittarius, the tail's been sitting on the United States' 6th house of health and service to the world. Now, as a nation, we are unhealthy, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. We have become a nation where logic and reason has been thrown out the window and the door. We have become divided. We've become unkind. We've become racist, and we've become irrational. This is why the very last days of this negative Sagittarius fire dragon are taking so many American lives and giving many people a hard dose of reality. I posted a newsletter in April of 2020 about this, and I've linked it to this. So you can go back and read all about the Gemini Sagittarius dragon if you so desire. Now, these past 18 months have brought about many things. Let's start with Gemini. The positive energy of Gemini is all about mental stimulation. It's about multitasking, discoveries, curiosity, photography, music, seeking the truth. It's about broadcasting, journalism, and writing. Anytime you have Gemini energy, especially when it's riding its dragon's head, it can be about joyous, happy times. It's with a lot of laughing, a lot of joking going around. Um, it's a party goer type energy, and people are generally happy and cracking jokes and can be very charismatic and charming. Um, Gemini is a dual sign, and people with a strong Gemini in their stars will always experience their life happening in doubles, quadruples, so twos, fours, sixes. This energy will also give them a strong physical and mental process. And this is why we, as Americans, are experiencing a fourth wave of this COVID virus. Twos, fours, sixes. It's all written in the stars. New York is a Gemini city, hence why they are getting hit so hard with COVID. LA is also a Gemini city and made headlines these past 18 months with the COVID crisis. Just because the dragon is riding its head does not mean tragedy and sadness will not happen or occur. COVID is the perfect example of an air dragon riding its head, bringing a respiratory illness to the world. Gemini rules the respiratory system and has made its presence known. Okay. I also spoke about the tail in Sagittarius that's going on right now. And this is why, where is it? Oh, I lost my place. Here we go. I also spoke about this tail of the dragon being in a negative fire energy in Sag. We have been like this in the past 18 months, and we've seen so much sadness. Sagittarius rules medicine, education, laws, justice, court, the animal kingdom, our indigenous people, foreigners. It also rules foreign lands. Ancient astrology calls it the codification of thought. The world at large will begin to question books written by man and what the good book says. The Sagittarius fire energy will pursue the animal kingdom. Now, let me just stop there before I go on. Um, what I had just said was that Sagittarius rules the codification of thought. And there are a lot of people that have buried their head in the sand and just believe what anybody said and believe what that good book said. The positive aspects of Sagittarius and people who are not heavily indoctrinated, they're the ones that are going to question the good book and try to seek out higher knowledge, like eating from the tree of knowledge. Knowledge is power. So when I put that in, I was referring more to my advanced souls than my unadvanced souls, because technically with a dragon tail in Sagittarius, it's about the stupidity of things and not thinking for yourself. So I just wanted to clear that up in my writings. So Sagittarius fire energy will pursue the animal kingdom, and we saw that this year and the year before with Australia. That was the um, seeing what was going on in Australia, even though the other dragon hadn't hit yet. It was a precursor to things to come, and the universe does give us certain messages, little omens saying, "Hey, hello, see this? Welcome to your future." So California lost a lot, Australia, parts of Arizona, parts of Nevada, Oregon. We've seen a lot of fires this year. And California is a Sagittarian state. So, okay. We've also seen issues with the educational system. If you notice the whole thing with the mask and no mask, the medical profession, with religion, and like I said, the indigenous people, and also minorities, along with many leaders who have this sun and dragon placement in Gemini Sagittarius, such as Donald Trump. Um, when this dragon hit, this is where people rose up to in protest against what happened to George Floyd. This is the dragon tail in Sagittarius. People are saying no more equality for all. It's a wake up call. Every dragon has its lesson that has to be learned. So I mentioned Donald Trump. Even the Pope has made headlines. Now, countries take on this Gemini Sag energy as well. Like I said, parts of California and Arizona, New York, LA, Gemini cities, but also Australia is a Sagittarius nation. South America, Sagittarius energy. So Brazil made headlines over summer with this COVID. And you notice a lot of the countries that make headlines are either ruled by the energies of Gemini or Sagittarius. That's called astrogeography. And we've also seen the stupidity of fearful and indoctrinated people that plague the world with this Sagittarian energy. Now, modern astrology pays very little attention to these nodal shifts, if none at all. The only astrologers I see focusing on this are Vedic, which works on the sidereal method, Babylonian, Occidental or Chinese astrology, Draconian, which is not practiced anymore as far as I know. And I actually have access to that method through my software. It's very interesting, very different, but very interesting. And the other one is divine. Divine astrology is the Nostradamus method and what the great seer used to use to make his predictions. And I'm in no way comparing myself to Nostradamus. I'm actually just very blessed to have been taught this. These are the only ones in the methods of astrology that pay attention to the north and south nodes of their housing system. In Vedic astrology, astronomically, Rahu and Ketu denote the points of intersections of the paths of the sun and the moon as they move on the celestial sphere. Therefore, Rahu and Ketu are respectfully called the north and the south lunar nodes. Rahu is responsible for causing the eclipse of the sun. This is a Google search, so you can go and look that up. Now, Nostradamus was able to create astrological predictions through incorporating a few ancient methods of astrology to work very well under the tropical zodiac, which is what he uses. He took draconian methods, which represent the soul's purpose in life. He mixed it in with the teachings of the dragon's energy of Chinese astrology, and also threw in the use of Babylonian and ancient method of power of the dragon placements to see into the future on how all these energies will affect mankind by house, sign, and even degrees. Now, like I said, the next dragon shifts on January 18th, 2021 through July 17th, 2023 into a Taurus Scorpio axis. I'm going to say this, and I believe I did say this just a few days ago on YouTube. Out of all the dragon tails that hit, I fear this one the most. The Scorpio dragon's tail is a very harsh, unkind, unloving, uncaring, and unfeeling dragon. It does not give a damn about your feelings. It doesn't care about your kids, your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle. Wherever this falls by house and sign, you're going to feel its energy. There's no human being is going to be able to escape this dragon. You will feel its wake-up calls, deaths and transformations. And when I mean by deaths, I don't mean physical deaths. I'm meaning deaths of situations, things that are going to be coming to completion that no longer serve your greater good. Pluto has a mission, and his mission is to kill it. If it's not working, to kill it, rebirth it, and transform it. So that is what's on the agenda wherever Scorpio falls by house and sign for all of you out there. This is where there'll be challenges. Some issues will be worse than others for people, and that goes to say because the dragon tail is karmic residue. It's past life incantations. So why is it that some dragons' energies affect people more than others? Well, could be the placement of their stars. Some people have a natal dragon's tail in Scorpio. Those are the ones that have to be extremely careful, along with sun signs in Scorpio. But it all has to do with karmic. It's a karmic rebirth of some sort. When it's on your tail, it's past incantations. But if you've done good, you're a good person, it won't be as bad as it will for someone who is going to pay the price. And that's really all I'm going to say about it. It's a wake-up call for many, and it's both positive and negative. Excuse me. Scorpio is either the eagle, which is positive, or the lizard, negative. This dragon's tail will represent the lizard and all of the negative it brings. Scorpio rules metaphysics. It rules witchcraft and the witchcraft residue, the underworld. It rules investigations. It rules investments, morgues, cemeteries, morticians. It rules death and drama in some ways. It rules the dead. It also rules insurance and police and CIA, FBI, IRS. It rules the mafia. It rules the sex industry, porn and sex industry. It rules sex trafficking. Dramatic news where death and drama take center stage will make headlines. The witchcraft community is going to take a big hit in some way, and I'm going to explain this a little more in a minute. You're going to see lawlessness will arise, and the possibility of civil war is really not off the table yet, in my opinion. Deep and hidden secrets are going to be brought to light. You need to brace yourself for very unsettling news about children, sex trafficking, police disgracefulness, exposure of politicians, celebrities, and religious figures will all make headlines. This is where Plutonic souls will feast as psychic vampires, often with resentful, jealous, and dangerous tactics. So if you are one of those, if you are an empath and you have a tendency to take on those energies of other people, you need to protect yourself, okay? Because those are the ones, they're going to come for you, and they're going to try and feast on your psyche. And so that's not good. So put your boards up, put your protection up, know your barriers. Okay. There will be no fear of laws, and there is no regard for laws. A natural lust for death and drama is going to prevail. Metaphysical powers are going to be used in the wrong manner and used to control, harm, and manipulate others. Witch hunts, yes, I said witch hunts, and some sexual diseases, once thought a thing of the past, are going to resurface and make headlines. So yes, you're going to hear in the next 18 months of Christians resurrecting witch hunts again. This is why I went on a rant the other day on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on TikTok, before I made my page private, about how the witch community is going to need to start getting along with each other, regardless of what path you are within the pagan community, because there's something negative coming for our community if we're a witch. And it has to do with the conservative Christians resurrecting witch hunts. So please be careful out there. Love thy neighbor, love thy fellow witch. Stop the fighting. And there's going to be sad news ahead for Russia and all countries formed in the month of November. The dragon's head will be in Taurus, which is Venus energy. This is a beautiful Venetian and earthy dragon's energy where we will put more focus on the things that make us feel beautiful, sexy, and even rich. With this dragon, be prepared for earth changes such as volcanoes and tornadoes, hurricanes, and stress on fault lines will be common. Uranus is also in Taurus. So those two together, the Uranus and Taurus and the dragon, the north node of the dragon in Taurus, these two together, they will make the earth shake. Okay. I see something going on around May for that. Big earthquake in California. Yeah, I know something about next year as well, but fault lines will go crazy probably around May, and I do think California is on that list. I didn't put that in the predictions, though. Taurus rules beauty. It rules banking, finance, money, wealth, and possessions. And we will see a change in the banking system, and currency issues leading to a new currency are very possible. People will be into shopping more for vintage goods, antiques, and all sorts of new technology in the beauty industry and aesthetics world will be introduced. So cosmetic industry as well. There's going to be all kinds of new stuff coming with beauty and aesthetics and plastic surgery, things like that. Switzerland makes news, and countries formed in the month of May make headlines. I'm going to give you an example of a country here. Even though England is a Capricorn nation, well before borders and boundaries existed, the United Kingdom was formed on May 1st, 1707, and it will make headlines in the next 18 months with significant news. So I'm hoping it's good news because the dragon's riding on Great Britain positively now. So let's hope it's some interesting and good news coming out of the United Kingdom. It doesn't just mean England. The United Kingdom is Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and England. Okay. Many souls will be able to make millions with genius ideas in business and investing in other people's money. Other people's money may make you more money. Hard work will bring love and respect to others. And this placement does signal where the rich suffer financially and the poor benefit monetarily. And what I mean by that is this dragon coming is going to hunt the rich, and all the dirty deeds are going to be exposed. That's why I'm saying issues with you. You can hear a lot about Donald Trump. It's not over for him yet. Many of us, though, will get creative, and that creativity can and will bring about financial freedom and happiness for the little guy. This dragon is, though there's going to be bad things happen, it really is the dragon for the little guy, because Dragon Tail in Scorpio exposes dark, hidden secrets about politics, government, religion, our politicians, our clergy, our law enforcement. It's going to expose a lot. This dragon is directly hunting for all November and May born souls. We will all feel this energy. But those born with Scorpio or Taurus moons, suns, rising, natal, or hidden dragon head or tail placements in Scorpio or Taurus will feel this more than others. I also will say that for the next 18 months, our plutonic phases that I post for you guys, I warn you, days of caution, platonic phase, those are going to be stronger and deadlier. And that is actually in one of my predictions. They're going to be more violent than we have ever seen before. Knowing those days of caution, And knowing your own negative and positive days, meaning your lucky and unlucky dragon days, your cosmic biorhythm days, are going to help you through a very rough phase coming up. The United States will feel this energy on its 11th house. This is the house of wishes and friends. Now, this means that we will regain or make alliances and friendships among other countries. We may have falling outs with some countries, and we may make new friends with other countries. I think the other day someone mentioned um, maybe having a falling out with Japan. That could be. That is a possibility. Um, some of our own wishes as a nation do get fulfilled in these next 18 months. So what do Americans want? Healthcare. That might be a big issue, and you might see a lot of changes in the next 18 months with that, especially. So, okay. The United States, like I said, this is about wishes and friends. So this means that we will regain some of alliances and friendships, but this also means the tail rides America's fifth house. This is the house of children, love, creativity. Our children will make headlines in very negative ways. This dragon hunts America and its children, and you must watch your kids closely. This is not a dragon you want to mess around with. The months that will have the most impact on the universe will be May 2022, November 2022, and May 2023. To be more exact, April 30th, 2022, solar eclipse in Taurus, May 16th, 2022, lunar eclipse in Scorpio, October 25th, 2022, solar eclipse in Scorpio, and November 8th, 2022, lunar eclipse in Taurus. I would focus more on the lunar than the solar because that's going to be our emotions. And these are going to be, when I give you these dates, keep an eye on this for the next 2 week span of each date. Okay. All right, kids, we're coming down here to the forecast and predictions for the 22-23 year in a Taurus Scorpio axis. I want to just make sure I'm still recording and I sound okay. Very good. All right, number one on the list is Donald Trump, and he will have some health issues, and his service to the world is exposed. He will not be running in 2024. It would take a bloody miracle. He will be busy fighting legal battles, possible jail time, and probably bankruptcy. Stress will bring about poor health where the Donald gets a wake-up call, and I do not see Melania staying in that marriage a second longer. In fact, as of now, even though they're still legally married, they are separated. She has been spotted several times in New York City, staying at Trump Tower, and only coming down to Florida to make appearances for him. So they are not together, only on paper. Number two, the last dragon in Sagittarius, it ruled doctors, it ruled medicine, and it ruled the Hippocratic Oath. Please remember that there's 3 signs, and I said this on my YouTube channel the other day. There are 3 signs that rule medicine. Sagittarius rules doctors and the Hippocratic Oath. Virgo rules the holistic sector of medicine and holistic healing. And Scorpio rules medicine. It rules internal medicine in a lot of ways. It rules the health insurance industry. So this Scorpio dragon is going to rule insurance, and you're going to see massive bankruptcies will be on the rise due to people not able to pay their hospital bills. I talked about this. This will be one of the freebies I give the general public. A full restructure of our health insurance is needed, and I will expose it. I will expose its corruption. I didn't read that right. A full restructure of our health insurance is needed and will expose its corruption. The U.S. now begins its major healthcare crisis and exposure of the greedy insurance companies, the lobbyists, and the politicians who fought hard not to give every U.S. citizen a small measure of public health care for its people. Um, COVID's a karmic thing in some ways. Um, like I said, a lot of bankruptcies. People can't pay their bill. If we had had a universal health care system like several other solvent countries do, we wouldn't be having these problems. That's all about greed from our politicians and lobbyists. This is where that Pluto return comes into effect. Everything is going to crush down and be rebuilt. All right, number 3 kind of correlates with number 2, and with bankruptcies brings foreclosures. And I do see the housing market taking a small hit. Nothing like the 08, 09 situation, but some of us will benefit from others' misfortune with buying foreclosures. I believe I put this twice in these, but in a different wording because I had to, and you'll see what I mean. Number 4, those who have money saved in precious metals and digital currency will be able to buy goods and services when the American dollar drops so low nobody wants to use it anymore because of its devalued worth. I foresee this more in like 2023 than this year, but it's coming. I hope I'm wrong on that, but I don't think I am. And there is a big possibility it could come this year, right around one of those eclipses, like November 8th, something like that. High possibility of that. There's going to be a full restructure and exposure of more police secrets and crimes. You know, I'm not going to mince words here. Let me take a little sip of my wine because I am drinking a glass of wine while I'm reading this to you. And I had to let the cat out. It's not going to be a good time to be a cop, for they are in danger and many will die. You're going to hear a lot about cops dying. We will also see the police and FBI involved in things such as sex trafficking will get exposed. Yes, you heard me correctly. You're going to find out that people in the FBI, people in politics, police force are involved in sex trafficking. Just like those kids that were in cages down in Texas and parents can't find them. Where do you think half of those kids went? It's almost a blessing that I'm not publicly saying this and it's on a private platform, or they probably shut me down. They'd censor me for what I'm saying to you. They're going to be hunted and exposed for their corrupt ways, and more info will come out exposing them. Full restructure of the police force is imminent. Russia is going to experience the Scorpio tail as a nation because they are a Scorpio nation. There's going to be lots of negative stuff coming out of Russia and Moscow, and tragic news, issues with Putin, possible health issues with him, or economic problems, but issues will arise. You will hear a lot in the next 18 months. Russia, Russia, Russia. Progressive changes. I have some good news. Progressive changes are ahead in how you all do banking and how you spend money. And it's very new age money here and somewhat scary for a lot of us, but it is written in the stars and mankind's destiny to new digital currency. You got to go with the flow. It's going to happen eventually. And many will progress forward. Number 8, many will progress forward and make millions and launch new businesses and be very successful. This is the year of the entrepreneur where we can all make money. Go find where your house lies in Taurus. Okay? Wherever your house lies in Taurus, these are the areas you will be able to make money this year in. Mine lies in the 5th house. It's the house of love, romance, and children. I'm in the process of writing 2 books right now. One is a children's book. That's not an accident. The stars are pushing me to write a pagan children's book because there are no books out for kids on paganism. So, yes, that is my journey. That is my mission. What is your journey? What is your mission? Where are the stars wanting you to shine this year? I know it's negative, but you got to focus on the positive as well. That's where a full life reading comes in very handy. All right, where was I? Okay, here's a biggie. Number 9. The IRS gets exposed and will be under major scrutiny. Then they have already, we've already seen them wanting to tax and monitor things like Cash App and Venmo and other sites and to charge tax for anything over $600. I don't know if anyone's heard this yet. I have. They say it's to track illegal tax evasion, but in the end, it only hurts the little guy and the poor people. The people that are going to do tax evasion aren't necessarily laundering that through Cash App and Venmo. There's other ways to do it, but that will just hurt the poor if the IRS does that. And there will also be some negative information coming through about the IRS as well. So be prepared for that too. Number 10, there's going to be an increase in sexually transmitted diseases, and even those diseases that were once eradicated are going to come back again. Just watch the news headlines this next year and you'll see what I mean. Number 11, cyber attacks and cyber crimes will be on the rise. Cyber crimes in general will be really bad. Check all your accounts frequently and take all the precautions with your own computer, PC, or laptop. Watch all crypto, watch bank accounts, credit cards, and even hacks with social media will be on the rise. All of you out there in TikTok land, be careful because there's the doxing issues. This is going to escalate. And there's a little more to this, but I've made it a prediction for, I think, number 16 or so, and I'll read that in a minute. Number 12, there's going to be an increase in murders and rapes and very negative news with sex workers and the sex and that industry. They're going to make headlines. Not a good time to be a hooker, to be blunt, or anything like that. They're going to be targeted. This dragon's hunting for them in that industry. On a more positive note, there's going to be lots of advancements in science and medicine within the beauty and cosmetic surgery department. There's going to be a lot of great deals in clothing and beauty too in the next year and a half. I didn't make this a prediction, but COVID will be long gone by April, May, or June. Once June hits, we will not hear of it anymore. People will want to get out and get their hair done, get their nails done. They want to look good. They want to go on dates. They want to enjoy summer. It is going to be better. Okay, here we go. Number 14. Dark celestial energy is about to reign, making anything haunted, paranormal, or ghostly 100 times more intense, active, and powerful. This energy is not for the novice paranormal investigator. Mess around with things you have little experience with, and you may find yourself in possession or attachment of these energies. Sorry about that. The cat wanted out again. Oh boy. So yeah, if you're into paranormal investigating, be very careful. Spirit boards, things like that. The veil is going to be very, very thin. with this energy. Now, this is one of my predictions, but I did put it in the newsletter. Witch hunts are revived in 2022, and it's not a good year to be a witch. Watch your back. Put up your wards and call for protection, because we are going to need it, and we're going to need to form alliances with our fellow pagans. And I don't care what path they're from. I don't care whether they're Norse pagan. I don't care whether they're Santissima. I don't care whether they're Streges or Celtic witches. I don't care. Even our native witches, we are going to have to form an alliance, or they're going to burn us. They're going to try. So be strong, my witches. There's going to be, 16 and 17 are they correlate together. So 16 is those that are inexperienced in the magical world will pay the price for their ignorance. And this kind of correlates too with 14, number 14 as well. 17 correlates to spiritual warfare among the metaphysical community. I have already seen it, like I said, on TikTok or Witch Talk. Witch against witch, hex against hex, curse against curse. Even that community can be cosmically unconscious, and they will pay a heavy price for conjure without justification. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. I tell no one how to practice their craft. All right. I will never tell anyone. I don't care what side you're on, dark magic, white magic, gray magic. I will never tell anyone how to practice their craft. However, in the realm of magic, and I don't care whether it's black magic, white magic, gray magic, there are universal laws that we all as humans have to abide by. So when you conjure and it's not justified, you're only there to just hurt people and hurt people and hurt people. This dragon's going to pay you back. That Scorpio dragon tail is going to sting you in the ass. It's a wake-up call for naughty witches. Like I said earlier, too, number 18, all platonic phases increase 100 times more. This will make them more violent, more intense, and more dangerous. This is where terrorist attacks take place. When you go to my days of caution and you look under my platonic phases and you look to see what they bring, that's 10 times more stronger. So please be careful, especially going out into crowds. Do not go into them. You're going to see more terrorism. You're going to see more mass shootings. They're going to get worse and worse. But knowledge is power. And you know the green and light days to go out into the public. The platonic phase is not one of them. So unfortunately, there will be people that die. The people that are in Patreon here, you will live another day. All right, and I put number 19 as wake-up calls for all humans. Wherever this falls, we have hard realities to face. These are going to be hard lessons for all of us. This is a prediction, but it's a prediction for each and every human being. Okay, number 20 is a biggie, and it was really hard for me to write this. Perhaps why I'm having a glass of wine while broadcasting this. I started working on this forecast back in late October, and I started doing it a little bit at a time, and number 20, the dragon is on the U.S. children, and a full exposure of sex trafficking rings exposing many prominent, famous political or religious leaders is going to get exposed. We will see our own police force involved with sex trafficking too, and it will be shocking. This is why I kind of had to break these down, like I said, into 2 instead of 1. I could have, made these more into 20 instead of 25, but I mean, the Scorpio dragon is hunting for the police, but it's also going to expose the police. And this coming is shocking. And I'm going to give you an example of a precursor, a little light bulb went on in my head that I figured out this is a precursor to things to come. It was when Matt Gaetz was um, brought up on suspicion of trafficking 17-year-old across state lines. I realized then that this next dragon coming, that's an omen of things to come. They're going to fight it hard to keep it under wraps and not bring it public. But what this dragon does is it exposes our secrets. So please keep your eye on your children, okay? If you have kids, watch them. And actually 21, I guess I only have 24. I made 21. Lots of death news about children is coming in the months ahead, and an increase in murders, rapes, and cyber theft. This kind of correlates with number 20 as well, but it also correlates with another one up there. But this is very true. I cannot reiterate this over and over again. Cyber attacks. And, to be honest, 23 kind of correlates with 21. It's not that I'm trying to repeat myself and duplicate the same prediction. It's not that. It's just that one prediction unfolds into another one, and it's kind of like it's like a tangled web. You got the police in danger, but the web weaves out where the police are involved in the sex trafficking. Do you understand where I'm going with this? There's a lot of shit to digest here. So the next one is 22, and this is where possible civil war to begin around August, September, or even October, November. As the United States meets its very first Pluto return on February 20th through the 22nd, it will bring revolutionary times where we will have to accept the atrocities this nation has done to others, specifically our POC and First Nation brothers and sisters. The ground will spill more blood as more graves are discovered in this dragon phase. So we're going to hear about more hard secrets that our country has done. So I said it's buckle up. Number 23. We had an energy crisis over summer with a cyber attack on, I think it was an energy company. That's going to strike again. That was another precursor and omen to what's coming for the next dragon. That will strike again, hitting possibly our power grids, our water supply, and even the internet. Stock up on water, stock up on batteries, portable generators if you can, and things to help. Just in case this happens in your neck of the woods, you have something, a generator to run heat. Simple things like that are very good to invest in for these next 18 months. And I talked about this, number 24, a couple of days ago as well. I guess this will be another one I expose until give a freebie to. Disclosure and secrets come to light about our involvement with ETs, UFOs, and extraterrestrial world. That is going to get exposed big time. All right, and then the big one. I saved the best for last. Joe Biden will do all he can. This is number 25. Joe Biden is going to do all he can to help the American people. He truly does love this country. Now, with that being said, I am coming from a cosmic perspective more than a political one. Biden has a lot of positive transitions and progressions happening within his own personal chart this year. Okay. I am going to, for my Patreon, I'm going to do the stars of Joe Biden again for you guys, so you can understand all of these placements that are going on for him. I was telling another Patreon client last night in an email, maybe it was this morning, I literally cried when I started looking at some of his placements. We need this as a nation. I don't care whether he's Democrat or Republican. I'd be delighted with whatever he was with these placements. Okay. He has a lot of positive transitions coming in his own personal chart this year. Now, my only worry is that since he is a Scorpio and this dragon is directly hunting for him, so he will need to be very careful, because I'm not going to say this is going to happen, but he's in danger. I don't necessarily see too much of a health issue, except for maybe a lot of added stress. But there could be an attempted assassination on him, if possible. You know, we're dealing with people who hate him for many reasons. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers, because that is a possibility. But he does have a lot of good placements. I'm going to read you just a few, okay? I mean, like tomorrow he's got Jupiter squaring Uranus, so there's going to be some issues with that. Not too bad. But I mean, he's got throughout the year, he's got Jupiter trining the sun. He's got Jupiter trining Venus. He has Neptune trining Jupiter. As we go on throughout the year, the Jupiter opposes Neptune on October 13th, and this can be where he creates and makes promises he can't keep and over exaggerates. Promises the people more than he can give. So we got to be careful there for him. And then Saturn squaring Mercury on December 22nd of this year. He's going to have some sort of an intellectual conflict with someone, either another world leader, maybe his own vice president. I don't know. I am hoping he has the potential to finish his term. That's the word I'm looking for. And then the next dragon that goes into October, that's going to be sitting positively on Joe Biden's sixth house of health. So, I don't see Joe Biden. I mean, come on, let's face it, as we get older, we do have issues with our mind and things like that. It's part of nature and part of getting old. Unless something happens to him the last 6 months of his presidency, he might resign. There is that possibility I'm seeing. And Kamala Harris may take over. But the only thing I really see on the table that I worry about is an attempted assassination as possible, especially on his lucky and unlucky days. So for all my Patreon, give me a week or two, and I'm going to come on here for you guys. I did this once before, but I'm going to come on here privately and do the stars of Joe Biden for all of you, and I'll read you all these transits, and I'll even post his progressive chart for the entire year, so you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing, all of his transits, okay? All right. These are your 22-23 Taurus, Scorpio, Dragon axis energy. Violent times are ahead, and I'm not going to sugarcoat what I'm seeing. Once this dragon has ended and we move into the Aries Libra dragon on July 18th, 2023, we will see less about left and right, blue and red, Democrat, Republican, and more about equality, justice for all. This does not mean that those parties won't be there, but change is coming in our political system, our monetary system, and in our own communities. And this also goes for our judicial system. This goes for a lot of things. Scorpio is coming to clean it all up in a lot of ways and expose the corruption. But this is about our own community. It will be about helping one another. All I can say is this: thank Goddess that Jupiter is in Pisces, as this is going to help to aid all of us as human beings in compassion and kindness. within our citizens once again. We're going to have a little more belief in humanity once again. We have to expect the worst, but we have to also hope for the best and take it one day at a time. And that is your forecast for 2022, 2023. Wherever the dragon lies with you, make sure you're riding the head, because the tail is not a place for anyone to be. And I'm wishing all of you a very safe and positive transition into this next dragon energy. And like I said, I'm offering some specials for those who want their souls reading. So if you're new here and you want a souls reading, I have it here in the newsletter at the bottom. And I also have progressive reports. For those of you who already had your full life reading, I'm offering you progressive readings as well. And last but not least, I am still offering the lucky and unlucky cosmic biorhythm days for 2022. The moon sign book. Now, actually, this is for the regular clients, the regulars on my website. If you are interested and you are a Patreon subscriber and you do want your lucky and unlucky dragon days for the entire year of 2022, along with this moon book, for Patreon, it's only $49.99, and that includes shipping and tax. So you guys are getting like 15 bucks off. You're getting a hell of a deal. General public gets them for 65, and I had sold out of most of them, and then the company I ordered from refunded me for only 5 instead of 8, and then shipped me 3 more. So now I've got 3 more to sell, and I'd really like to sell that to Patreon over the general public, because when it's an investment in yourself, and I rather give my deals to people who invest in me. But please feel free to check out all the rest of my website. I have all kinds of stuff on sale. If you're into selenite and lapis, I've got all kinds of stuff straight from Sedona, Arizona. I have a wholesaler over there. So that is your forecast. Please be safe, and any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Have a good one. Blessed be.